Hey guys, and welcome to a new edition of News Bytes, my roundup of tech news from the last week. So let's dive into it. So starting off with some gaming news for all you gamers out there. The announcement that E3 2021, so normally a huge show that attracts a lot of attention, lots of big name titles get launched there. This year it's all going to be virtual. And obviously this is down to the pandemic, but that's not stopping the big companies rolling out to it. So you've got Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Take-Two Interactive, there, all those kinds of companies. I'm sure we'll get some interesting game launches there. So it'll be really good to see. And I believe it's the 12th to the 15th of June, so not too long to wait. No details yet as to whether it's a chargeable event or anything like that. I know some of these online virtual events have been chargeable. So obviously, if I hear anything, I will either put it out in another News Bytes episode or I'll update this one. But interesting, I guess. As a platform going forward to see whether these kinds of exhibitions might actually get shared online, as well as having them available to go to in person. So, if you're into your gaming, look out for that date, and let's see what gets launched. Sticking with gaming and gaming and graphics cards, really. I know we've had lots of episodes of News Bytes. We're talking about GPU shortages and things like that. A bit of a good news story, I think, this one, albeit just scratching the surface, really. I think is that the RTX 3070 in the Steam hardware survey, it's now showing up in that survey. And whilst the previous generation cards are predominantly at the top of the list, they seem to be the most common cards. I think it's 1.7% of gamers are now using the 3070, so it's pushed it into, I think it's the top 20 it's been pushed into. But there's huge relevance to this, and that is the fact that this hardware showing up in the Steam list. Two things really. One is that would seem to be the card of choice that most people seem to be going for, and the fact that consumers are now able to start getting hold of this card. Admittedly, some people are probably paying well over the retail price of the card in order to get it, but it is that particular card that is ending up in the hands of gamers rather than Bitcoin miners or Ethereum miners or something like that. So good to see. Obviously 1.7% is quite small, so over the next 12 months we'd hope we'd see that increase a little bit more, and I think if it does, then that is a real good indication that we're starting to stem that tide of where the GPUs are going to. Not wanting to make this a completely game related News Bytes update, but obviously the game which had talked about previously on News Bytes was Cyberpunk 2077, and they've got a patch out for it, or a patch coming out for it, 1.2 I believe it is. Over 500 bug fixes, which is just shocking, really. I've worked in software development for many years, and that, I'm afraid, just smacks of poor quality coding when you've got that number of issues. It's going to be over a 30 gigabyte download on the PC alone, so I do wonder what it'll be like on the console. But 500 bug fixes plus, that's we're talking going from a 1.1 to a 1.2 here, so that takes some going to get that level of number of defects in your software. And I know games are complex pieces of software, but even so, there's clear indication that this game was very much rushed out before it was ready when you're launching something of that level of update. Well, there you go. This is as a certain other channel would have it. It's corporate greed. So moving away from gaming and really, this whole semiconductor issue, which is obviously not just affecting PC gamers and system builders and stuff like that. It's the automotive industry and various other ones as well that are being affected by this. But ARM in Taiwan had a news conference recently, and they announced that they believe the first half of 2022 is when things should start to stabilize in terms of supply for semiconductor components, which seems a while off yet. We're looking potentially 12 months here. But I think the interesting thing is, the companies, the partners that they deal with and they do business with, and kind of like in their network and stuff like that, are some of the big name companies, Samsung and stuff like that. So this is probably quite reliable information and probably quite accurate with regards to that. Disappointing, but I think the thing to take is that that's going to increase to that point, and then it will stabilize then. So hopefully by the end of this year, things will be significantly better to where we are at the moment, and we could all be building those new rigs next year. So fingers crossed. And finally for this week is the I'm sure you've all seen it, the announcement of the Facebook data that was leaked. So it's 500 odd million records that have been dumped, and obviously Facebook came out and said, look, this is data from 2019, this isn't any kind of new hack. That's quite a valid excuse. I think the interesting bit here is the fact that this data has been held by hackers for almost 2 years now, and unfortunately it's now become available free on a forum. So there's some various websites detail out the list of countries that have been most hit by this, and where the majority of the data comes from. And you obviously there's a whole wealth of information that's been shared now because of what people put in their Facebook profile. So you've got your telephone numbers, email addresses, date of birth, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's kind of worrying a little bit, that companies like this control so much data. So, I've spoken to some people, they're not overly worried about it, because their data's been hacked so many times before. But if you are worried about it, it is probably time to start thinking a little bit about how much you entrust your data to some of these corporations, just for the privilege of wishing somebody happy birthday or sticking a picture on there. So yeah, interesting, and I'm sure that'll rumble on for a little while yet, but expect more than just spam emails. If you've had your phone numbers previously listed with Facebook, that's quite valuable information. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video this week. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this, obviously, and as well as all the other reviews and the unboxings and how-tos, all that kind of stuff. Don't forget, when I hit 500 subscribers, which we are very, very close to now, I'm going to be starting a giveaway on the channel. So you'll want to be notified about that. But as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.